Cathaoirleach, at the start, at the outset, I want to place on record my gratitude to members of the Royal British Legion in Ballymoney and in Coleraine for their support for the organisation of national ex-servicemen in this island, where they raised over £1,000 sterling in a walk across the causeway. Speaking of Defence Force matters, again this morning I'm aware of the fact that the post-94 contractees are still not aware of the future fate that they have with respect to being allowed to serve past the age of 50. They were promised this would come through at the end of May. It hasn't come through yet. Furthermore, there was outrage from former colleagues in the Defence Forces at the lack of participation at the recent Defence Committee meeting where we heard from RACO. There was, as far as I recall, only 2 political parties and 2 independents represented at that, and that simply is not good enough. It sends out a very poor message. Furthermore, the Department of Education has done away with abatement for a period to attract retired teachers back into the system. But a former member of the Defence Forces who's a teacher is not going to be able to avail of the waiver on abatement. And I would love if the Deputy Leader could check out what is so different about a former member of the Defence Forces that they are not allowed to benefit from this when former teachers are. I think it's an outrage, and it once again shows a disregard for members of the Defence Forces. Now, with respect to the order of business today, I will oppose the order of business today. I am getting sick and tired of legislation being run through this House like as if it doesn't matter. The people of Ireland voted to retain this House, and many of us are here dedicated to doing the job that this House is supposed to do. Some are here, I regret to say, in a place or state of purgatory waiting for their chance to get a Dáil seat. This House has a function under the Constitution, and bringing legislation through this House all stages in one day, guillotining legislation on a regular basis. Now, I'm 7 years here, and I think, Cathaoirleach, this is the worst I have ever seen. I realise we're in the middle of a national emergency, but we don't have to guillotine legislation at the rate we're doing it. We do not have to run legislation through this House in one day. We are either serious about the Seanad, or the government should go back to the people of Ireland and say, we did not listen to what you said when the referendum was called. We have no intention of ever reforming this House. So do you want to keep it the way it is, or do you want to finally close it down? I think it's heartbreaking to see the way this House has been abused by this government, and it must stop.
Senator Craughwell once again raised a number of Defence Forces issues, an issue close to my heart also. He commended the Royal British Legion for raising €1,000 for the ONE, and just on behalf of the House here as Deputy Leader to extend my gratitude also to them for their fundraising efforts. It's much appreciated. To Senator Craughwell, I will make some inquiries as to the post-94 contractees who are still awaiting confirmation of whether they can serve beyond the age of 50. We'll seek a response to that. To concur with Senator Craughwell's remarks that the RACO appeared before the Defence Committee recently and were unimpressed by the level of attendance at committee. I think it is important that members, as best they can, make an effort to attend these meetings with these organisations who are representing their members to the best of their ability, and RACO do a fantastic job in doing that for the commissioned officer ranks. And I don't have an answer for the Senator in terms of the waiver. He referenced teachers and Defence Forces members, and we'll come back to the Senator on that. And to note also the objection to the order of business raised by the Senator as well. And just to agree with him in terms of it's not ideal to be guillotining debates. There is a bit of a rush on towards the end of term. I'm not suggesting that that's okay, but there is, to be fair to the Leader of the House, there is pressure coming on from government to get certain legislation passed for a variety of reasons. And I know firsthand that she is doing her very best to accommodate all requests in that regard, but also to make sure that the House has sufficient time to debate all issues. So it's a difficult balancing act that she's doing her very best to strike the right balance.